fuck, it appears that we reached the size limit to that video. We're gonna have to keep going on this one. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, the beach, the Miller Trip beach. Okay, so we brought all the pieces there, and we were drinking Southern Comfort and Jaeger that Tanya and them brought. And then, I went to go swim in the ocean one morning for the first, few waves of the beach and shit. And then Miller walked up from the hotel, plastered, drunk, off of the Southern Comfort and shit. And then, while he was puking off the balcony at the hotel, there was this other dude in the room beside us in the corner room of the fucking building. He was puking, and they were partying, and they came over to our room, and we were all partying, playing Cards Against Humanity, and we had a beer bong, and we were using that and shit. It was great, dude. We ended up losing the beer bong somehow, though. Yeah, and we were just going over this fucking strip at Myrtle Beach, doing all kinds of cool shit. And then, nothing really happened until the last days, because towards the end of the week, this dude ended up trying to fuck with us and saying that he smelled weed, and he was like, maybe I should call the cops or security. And so we had to hide everything, but nothing ever came of it. It did spoil the trip, though. And then Tanya got mad at Miller because she thought that he stole her shirt, which he didn't. I don't think. And then after that, 2 weeks passed when I got back, and it was time for the trip with my mom. And, I brought Will. It was a little different. I also saw my brother that week. And we couldn't smoke weed in the apartment, even though we did, and we got in trouble for it. But we walked 6 miles every day to the ocean, the strip, right there on the beach. And we got $200 that time. Because the last time I had $200, but I basically spent it all on what I went there with to pay for the room. And then we got these Best Bud shirts and hats, and we were walking around, getting high fives and smoking, and people were selling on the beach and shit, and we were flipping it. And there was this store called Red Shop, and it had all kinds of legal stuff, and it had this stuff called Kratom. And we mixed that with the weed and called it Wonderbud, and that's where one of the terms started. And I got to see my brother for the week, which was cool, but we were kind of distanced because I haven't got to see him in forever. And, yeah, before we knew it, it was over. And then college. Like, after the beach trips, I had a lot to think about. But instead, I had to go to college, and there was one day right before I left where I was talking with Will in the man cave, and I was like, man, what's gonna happen to all this? All these memories, and all these drawings, and all the things that became of the squad and shit. And I tried to create the board of alphas, which was, we had Kick, because Kick was still a messenger thing at the day, or back in the day. And then, yeah, I got everybody that was still a major part of the squad to be, like, an elite member, and try to keep the squad going. And maybe, like, come to the cave sometimes, but it just, nobody really did much. But it was cool, because I came back after a week. But what happened was, I had to leave my girlfriend. I didn't have any money. I had to get a job, but I didn't have one. I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have pens, paper, nothing. And then I was going through all the lines and shit, and like, it was kind of weird, going to a college, not knowing anybody, just being on your own, especially after you've been through a lot of shit and like you're still fucking got a lot of weed in your system, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird because I didn't know anybody, and yeah. Uh, but yeah, and then I had to set up all my classes. I went through ROTC orientation boot camp shit for a week, and I did pretty good. I outran pretty much everybody, and I was doing good. And even though I didn't train, which was a dumbass mistake on my part, so like I sucked at the sprints, which I could have done better, but it's cool. Um, and then of course I got scabies. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then I was one of the only people who had engineering and was going for the ROTC scholarship, and they told me that no one had ever been able to do it because they're both so demanding. So like you got a picture. I was supposed to study every night until like 3 in the morning, get up at 5 every morning and exercise, then go through all my classes, and then hold a job, and then come back and then fucking start studying again. and I wouldn't have the weekends because I had to do community service from ROTC, and I didn't have no fucking money, no fucking laptop, nothing. And then I got scabies, so my whole fucking body was broken out with basically ants under my fucking skin, which was fucking horrifying. Um, yeah, and then since they told me and everybody else that no one had been able to do it, that kind of like really set me back, and I was like, damn, no one's been able to do it, and they were probably in a way better fucking position, like, you know, may have, studied more or been a little bit, more keen about engineering or fucking, at least had money or a job or not had to worry about it, or I don't know, and still no one has been able to do it. And so I didn't want to go in debt and shit, so I was just deciding I wanted to go back, and I was just gonna get a job and shit. And I thought it'd be okay, I'd figure it out, whatever. And then, yeah, my mom told me to fuck off, basically, because she doesn't give a shit. And then Kathy said she was busy working, so I had to get my girlfriend and then Bizzle to come, and his girlfriend to come get me. And we were all riding in the car, and then it's fucked up because I let Will stay at my house all the time, and I've been to Will's house, and, I know his parents. And then the one day I need a place to stay, they all like give me shit because of the fucking scholarship. Like they don't fucking know, I'm like, you couldn't have done half the fucking exercising shit that I did, gone through half of what I fucking did. Y'all don't understand the situation that I had to deal with, you know, and it was just fucking retarded. And then I had to fucking sleep at this fucking man cave in the woods that was made of fucking wood, but it wasn't completely sealed all the way and shit. And I just felt like crap. It's like, damn, my friend's fucking parents don't give a shit about me after everything I've done for him, and fucking, you know, I thought we were cool. We used to fucking play games and shit at his house, but I guess fucking not. Fuck him. Um, yeah, that really fucked me up. It's like, you don't know, I just fucking worked my ass off. Went through military orientation shit. And the fucking shit I was gonna have to go $180,000 in debt. You know, hold a job, not have a laptop, not have books, not have paper, do community service, study till 3, wake up at 5, fucking, it was impossible. And it really fucking set me back. It was a pain in the ass time. And then, next page. Yeah, they were lecturing the fuck out of me. That's the word. Then eventually Kathy came and got me, and we went to USC, and I gave them all the ROTC gear back, and got all my shit, and left. And then eventually college thing kind of blew over, and it was a new beginning for the squad. And Miller ended up moving back not that long after that, because Miller ended up getting kicked out for weed. Kind of similar to the thing with Andy, but it went different. And then, yeah, this is just talking about the board of alphas. Time to go to the next page. Yeah, but Andy was back for a little bit, but not long. And then Johnny was still around at the time. But a lot of people, we lost. Like Brandon, Casey, and Douglas, unfortunately. Brandon came back for a little bit later on down the road when Miller moved back because he was living in Sharon too, but we lost contact. And then there was a lot of stories and shit. I'm reading the history right now, but the stories, there's a lot of good stories that go with the squad that comes later in the book. Alright, now this is talking about the squad after college. And let's see, how close are we? Yeah, we're back up to where we were last night. Alright, so we're about to get into the skate squad, some of the great fucking history there. Okay, got Cottonmouth again. Can't believe I've been talking 10 minutes again already. It's gonna be a long video no matter how I try to do this. Probably gonna pause it and come back here later, or I'm gonna smoke or something once I catch back up to where I was yesterday, because this took longer than I thought. But I'm literally on the last page. Okay. So after I got back from college, right, Andy and Tackett, Trudeau, Casey, Douglas, and Brandon were gone, and a few new people were introduced to the squad. JB, which was Travis's cousin, Josh, which was Will's friend, and then Patrick Hartsock, because he was on exhibition drill, and I also knew him through Will for skating and shit. And then yeah, Kimbrel and Brandon returned for a short period here, but not long. That's actually how I got the Watson pipe, because Kimbrel actually forgot it here. And then this was the second era of the squad. Really, it was when I got back from college, because everything really changed, because people were doing their own thing. And then shortly after, that's when Miller, moved back in. And then the scabies happened, and then the doctors thought it was like fucking herpes or some shit. And we were like, what the fuck? Herpes doesn't break out through your entire fucking body like that. It was like chicken pox or some shit, but worse. Chicken pox with ants in the fucking pox. Awful. They burrow under your skin and shit. Like fucking scarabs in the fucking mummy. It's fucking awful. And then we got cured. And that's when we did the salvia for the first time after we got cured. I think it was right after we got cured. Because Miller was talking about it, and then we ended up doing it. It was pretty crazy. I'd say the only two psychedelics worth doing, shrooms and salvia, but I would definitely not do high, proof salvia. And salvia is legal, which is insane, but yeah, I'd only do 60x. That's it. Maybe myself do 80x just to see it, but that's it. I'm not doing 100x. It's a certain thing that feels almost a little too powerful. Like, it hasn't fucked with me, you know? But I feel like if you did it in a strong dose, it would trip you up pretty hard. And I don't want to do that. Not with that. But it is cool just to experience something new in the low dose. Like I saw light bend and fucking space bend, which I never could have imagined before. Yeah, and the shit just looks like fucking caviar colored flakes. But but yeah. And now it's caught up to where it was. So I'm probably gonna pause the video. Hopefully it doesn't fuck up and stop the video again like it did earlier when I resume it. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna pause this for a minute. Go check and see what's up with the house. Probably take a break. Yeah, and I'll come back. Alright, I'm back. A little bit earlier than expected. Because Kathy's up and Shoot isn't. Unfortunately. Alright. So, Miller was in the guest room, Kathy's house. That's where he was when he moved in. And then, oh yeah, when he did the salvia, I warned him to put it down in case it was too strong. Because he tested it first, and then he fell over, and then he hit his head on the chair, and he said he was tripping. But he had a good trip. He said he felt like there was candy everywhere, and like he said he felt like he was in a giant fucking robot or something's hand, like tossing him back and forth or some shit. But yeah, he was good. And then I just saw space distort the first time. Second time I felt like there was a spirit in the room. Third time I got kaleidoscope vision, and the fourth time's the one I told y'all earlier. The light and space bending. It was pretty interesting. Um also can make you laugh, especially if you mix it with Witch. And then we were listening to Vice, which is a offshoot of Disturbed, because old David Drummond left for a little bit to do that. I think because he had problems with the band. And then we started the Skate Squad with Will, and it was me, Will, Josh, and Miller, and then Travis, Abe, Juan, Johnny, Patrick, and Tanner. We were all skating. We were a giant squad. And Will had his own squad for a while called Longboard Purgatory, but it didn't last forever. But it did have a damn good run. I think it's going actually now again with just Will. But yeah. And then this starts the mini skate adventures. So like the beginning moment of the skate squad, when did that start? See, at first I couldn't skate for shit. And then Will has a cemetery down the street from his house, and we were skating there. We were bombing the hills, and I was starting to power slide and shit. And then they had this thing called Slide Jam that Will and Josh were excited about. It was like a local skate competition with this hill in this neighborhood going down a cul-de-sac, and it had like a whole bunch of people there. There's actually a video for it if you want to check it out. But yeah. And then there was prizes and shit. That's where we got the Thugs Don't Apologize hat. Can't forget that. We pranked Eli with. And then we found the BMX track. Like, Will found it in Rock Hill. It was a BMX bike park, but it's got a whole fuck ton of neighborhoods, and it's got a nature trail, whole bunch of downhills and parking lots, and it's got an inward curved parking lot that you can snake through. It's great, man. It really is. And the nature trail we called the swamp because it's like, I don't know, it feels like a solid mile or 3/4 of a mile, but I don't know, I couldn't tell you. It might be a mile and a half of just bombing hills. It's fucking great. Um, especially if you want to fucking luge, fucking Mario Kart it. Yeah, and then it circles back around to the top if you want to go through the whole thing. It leads up to this place called Victory Lane, which goes to the top of the BMX park again once you go through the whole thing. But you have to go on the roads in Rock Hill for a minute. And then, of course, Mount Olympus. There's a hill in the middle of the BMX park that overlooks the entire fucking park in a 360 view, which came really in handy for the legendary story in the Alpha Squad. Legendary enough to not have its own side story. This was a major piece of history in the squad. The fucking legendary Alpha Squad skate escape. Whew. Right before I get into that though, there was a couple more stories. The crazy oncoming traffic driver. Oh man, this one was a doozy. So it was like right before that, right? And I'd gone with Miller to Will's house to go get him. On the way back, we stopped at like the stop sign at this church that's right before you get to the road to turn onto my road. And this crazy fucking driver, now it's like fucking 8 or 10 at night. This crazy driver is driving in the oncoming traffic lane in a red Mustang at 80 miles an hour. And then, hell, I just turned behind him because I was like, I was gonna give some distance in case, he got in a wreck, but I wanted to see what happened, to be honest. And then, there's a turn, like, turns off to the right to go to my road, and it goes straight. And so I just, kept going straight for literally, like, not even, like, 10 more feet. And then the dude fucking crashed into another car. And immediately, I mean immediately, afterward, there was a cop car behind him and then in front of him. I don't know fucking how, where they came out of, but they were just fucking there. And then I didn't want to get wrapped up in it, so I just, I backed up slowly, kind of let them know, like, I'm not trying to take off fast as fucking flee. And, like, I got back to the intersection at my house, and another fucking dude's fucking flying by. going into fucking Rock Hill, speeding his ass off. I'm like, god damn, that looks like fucking Casey's truck, but it wasn't. I still don't know what happened to him, but it was a hell of a time. Let me tell you. Like, we got a video for that. We were playing that song by Puddle of Mudd. You know, she fucking hates me. And right when that dropped, the fucking cars collided. It was crazy. Alright, and here we go. The Alpha Squad Skate Escape. The legendary fucking story. Gonna take a drink of this Diet Double Do again. It's gonna take forever to upload this. I can't stitch this together either. It's gonna take too long. It'd be better to keep it in increments anyway. I know at least I don't want to click on a video and it be an hour long, you feel me? Like, it's at 20 minutes right now, and that's about as far as I go with my videos. So, I've got a 15-minute one earlier. I think I'm gonna pause this one here and start a new one. So, yeah, thanks for listening. And this isn't the end of the video, but I am gonna pause this and start the legendary Alpha Squad Skate Escape one. So, yeah.